Engage fluo injectors.
Engaging fluo injectors.
Fluo reactors at 80%, sir.
Fluo containment field is destabilizing.
Emergency fluo containment protocols now. All hands brace for impact.
Brace for impact in 3, 2, 1.
And we're back with another episode of World 101 Podcast. Before we get started, quick shout out to our sponsor, Imaginary Authors. More about them just before the break. Make sure you can and do subscribe to us on all of your podcast catchers of choice. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Good Pods, all of those. You can catch them there and everywhere else you can find great podcasts. And if you don't see us on your favorite podcast platform, let us know and I'll fix it. I will. All that out of the way.
Choose your fighter!
I am, as always, your host, Raw to the Wall. Joining me this week is Michael Brownpants, Josh LeGroux,
Hey,
and finally back, Kathy!
Hey, I'm back.
I missed it in your face, and your NES Lego and back is making me happy.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, that's the NES Lego. I
Or
have the
the tall neck. Yeah.
tall neck from Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah, we have the coin block as well,
Oh,
floating around here
Point Block
somewhere.
cast was awesome.
I even have the Master Sword.
Oh yeah, I've got that somewhere in a.
That
wow.
wasn't a Lego brand one. Which one was that?
I don't remember. It's some Chinese knockoff, but
Yeah.
it was fun to put together.
Yeah.
Have you seen the lighting kits for some of those sets?
Yes.
God, those
Great.
are cool.
Yes.
I want to get the space postcard set and the lighting kit for that one. That one looks awesome.
I love the boo.
All right, so let's jump straight to Michael. What have you been playing?
Video
Other than not
games.
sleeping.
I finished Sea of Stars recently,
Oh, good.
Ooh.
and I did not 100% it. I ended up just getting the first ending I could, and then looking up the 100% ending, and I regret not getting the 100% ending.
Really?
It was so much better, like addition to the story,
Mm-hmm.
that I literally regret not going into it. The game was phenomenal. Like, it was, as I said, it was straight up as Super NES old school RPG goodness. Like, there's obviously homages to Chrono Trigger, Secret of Mana, all of the old greats. It was, and the best part is, I kickstarted this game. And I have a habit of, there's a thing that every time I kickstart something, it turns out mediocre at best. Like, I've kickstarted so many, like, Murder by Death albums and video games, and every one of them, like, maybe one good track, the rest of it's kind of just filler. Although the newest Murder by Death is really growing on me. But this game was fantastic. I mean, it wasn't perfect. There was a couple, like, there's a mechanic that you can climb up things, and it should have been automatic. Like, instead of having to hit the A button to climb up the little ridge, it should have been automatic.
Mm.
That gets tedious, but overall, as I said, it was a fantastic game, and I would highly recommend it to anybody who likes the old school RPGs. Other than that, I literally just last night started playing Darksiders Genesis again on my PS5. And I decided not to port over my save file, so I just kind of started over from beginning. It's, as I said, I really enjoy the game. Like, obviously I'm biased by the whole series, but
Darksiders.
Yeah.
yeah. But it's, as I said, like, as far as that kind of game. I'm really enjoying it.
Good. I know that was kind of an outlier for Darksiders, wasn't it?
It's the only one that's not like over the shoulder 3D.
Yeah, this was
It
top down,
plays-
wasn't it?
Yeah, it plays kind of like Diablo.
Okay, yeah. I had a vague recollection. I'm like, yeah, it sounds right.
Yeah, it plays kind of like Diablo. You're able to switch between war and strife, but it doesn't affect the story. Like,
Mhm.
basically, they just talk to each other throughout the entirety of the game. Strife is incredibly sarcastic, and war is the straight man.
Yeah.
Like, there's literally a point in it where Strife goes, no, the real serious question here is, can we fit more screaming demon faces on your armor? Just little things like that. But it's a good game. I enjoy it.
Good. Kathy, it's been forever. What have you been playing?
Well, no surprise, the OG Fortnite map is back, so of course I've been slaying that. But that's because a lot of my old Fortnite buddies have come back to the game. But that's not the only thing. I
got a question about that for you, though, since you're
Okay.
playing OG Fortnite.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
No. I'm legit curious.
Okay.
Somebody else's comment on the subject was that it had kind of been forgotten just how much big, dead, empty, useless space there was.
It
It-
definitely.
Does it hold up?
So they actually didn't only went back to season 5. So, well, not only is it such big dead space, but there are so many places you can't reach without building. So if you play zero build,
Mm.
you could get stuck real easily. In fact, they had to put rifts where you can kind of jump into, and you can go back in the air and fly elsewhere in places where you could get stuck because of it. But yes, it is a very, very open, not much place to hide
Yeah.
compared to other places. But but it's been nice. But that is not the only game. I actually picked up Final Fantasy VII, the remake,
Oh,
and I've been
okay.
running through that
fantastic.
slowly.
Good.
But that has been something I've been working on.
I got a question for you. Have you played the original, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't play the original when it first came out. I played
Right.
it when it
No,
came
I
out
don't-
on the Switch.
Hey, I
But-
don't care. I don't care. I'm just asking
yes.
if you played. Okay.
Yes.
That's okay.
I actually am a very big Final Fantasy fan.
Right.
Of
I remember
especially like the earlier games, especially Super Nintendo.
that. Yes. Did you get the
those-
Pixel remasters?
Yes, of course. Of
Yep.
course.
I'm on those
I'm-
too.
I mean, and of course the music is awesome. But yes, I'm enjoying this because I like how they've changed
Yes.
a lot of it.
Okay, good.
So it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying
Yeah,
it.
the remake was a lot better than I was expecting it to be, actually.
And that second one's coming out, and
I
I'm
know.
ecstatic.
can't
I'm gonna play the remake again.
Mhm.
I actually have this like wet dream that I'm gonna be able to play Final Fantasy VII, the remake, and before that. But I really hope I can, but I don't know if it's gonna happen or not.
Well,
You're going to
I'm
need
li-
3 generations of Sony hardware to play the remake.
But yeah, no, that's all I've been really focusing on lately. Mostly, like I said, OG Fortnite, just because everyone's back on.
I've heard that my Fortnite buddies are all playing again too. So
A lot of people have come back.
Yeah.
A lot.
Have
I'll-
you had old friends pop back up for the first time in ages?
Yes. A lot of
Nice.
them. Yes. It's what's also kind of interesting is playing the old map with the skill level I have now compared to then. We were actually talking about it back then when it was first out. I would camp a lot and hide, and I wouldn't engage people. So, now I'm like rushing into battles. Probably shouldn't be, but I definitely am playing a lot more aggressively. And it's nice to play this old map and actually feel like I'm playing the game. So there's kind of that nostalgia. going on.
Say you just reminded me of sitting on Twitch chatting with you while you were playing
Yeah.
back in the Meat Shield days.
I'm
Remember
still
that.
the meat shield. I am always going to be the meat shield. But this meat shield is learning how to fight back, and I don't always die, but
It's good.
Now you're a prickly Meat Shield.
Yep.
just a little. I'm just a Swiss cheese meat shield.
You're like, yeah, you're like that cactus in Mario. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh shit. LeGrew, what's been spinning?
Okay, so I did something I normally don't do. I stopped
Played
playing.
Fortnite.
No, I gave it a good thought because a lot of friends of mine were playing, and I'm like, can I start this now? And I'm like, no. So I stopped that. But the that was the thought in my head after one too many beers. So I actually stopped playing Alan Wake 2, and I went
Oh.
back to Alan Wake. And
Really?
here's why. I was about 3.5, 4 hours into Alan Wake 2. I was really getting into it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't remember any of this.
Oh, okay.
And I'm doing myself a disservice. I had the remaster on my PC, on my Xbox, and on my PS5. And so I thought, I'm going to play it somewhere else. I'm going to play the remaster again because I really loved that game and I really needed to. I found myself actually kind of like, I don't love this anymore as much anymore, and I'm wondering why. And so I went back to play the remaster, started that over on my Xbox, really enjoying it. And now I'm finding my love for the series again, and I'm remembering a lot of the callbacks to Alan Wake 2, or from Alan Wake 2 to Alan Wake 1, because it's in the same area it takes place in. So I'm like, okay, so I'm starting that. And I just been very slowly going through that as my my day job kind of ramps up for the holidays.
Yeah.
And I'm like three-quarters of the way through that. And I think when I'm done with that, in the next day or two, I have, because we're coming up on Thanksgiving here in the United States, I actually have plans for the weekend, which involve actual game time for myself because my wife is going shopping with her mom and dad and my parents, and I'm not going.
Nice.
So I get time to myself at my house, which I never get. And that'll be gaming time. And I don't have to feel guilty about it. All I got to take her as a dog, and that's okay. I can handle that. But my goal is to get through Alan Wake and then restart Alan Wake 2 and really roll back into that game because I really loved it, but I was just not. It wasn't that like sticky feeling like I want with this kind of game because I really love Remedy and their games. I love Control, love Alan Wake. Really wanted to get back into it the right way. So, and I'm not regretting that decision at all. So,
Okay. Anything else?
now I actually downloaded a Light in the Light in the Darkness. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh.
Yes.
It's a free game. It's about the Holocaust. It's like told by from the perspective of a French family
Okay.
during World War II, and it's absolutely free on Xbox. I can't find it on Xbox Store. It's supposed to be on there, but I can't find it. I downloaded it on Steam, and it's free on Steam. It's
Okay.
also free on PS5. I saw it on the PS5 store.
Ooh.
So it's a pretty narrative driven game. So it's actually, I downloaded it. I haven't started it yet, but I have a friend that played it and recommended it to me, and I actually listened to a podcast about it, and they were really recommending it. So I can't recommend or not recommend it yet because I haven't actually played it, but that's what I'm going for next.
Okay. All right. So I've got a couple, and Kathy, I got one for you because I have technically been playing a large player multiplayer online battle royale game.
Okay.
Like Call of Duty.
No. No. I've sank further into Arkanoid Eternal Battle.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, this is the crime. So think big big multiplayer, single player fest, kind of like Tetris 99 or Mario 35 was.
Mhm.
All right, apply that shit to Arkanoid.
That is something I could get behind.
Yeah. So I was telling Wes last week, one of the things I really like about this is it gives you a visual indicator how, like, where you are in the stack of 25 people that are all playing, and when you're moving up and down in the rank, because it's 25 players, and every so often the player in last place gets fucking chopped until it's down to 4. And then once you get down to the final 4, it's this weird bonkers, like, everybody's fighting the same boss, but kind of in their own little plane of existence thing going on. It's nuts, but when you're getting down to the final 4 though, or before you get down to the final 4, your screen essentially exists on a big line with all the other players, and as you're moving up and down in the ranks by score, you'll see all the other, like, players' screens shifting left and right behind you to adjust where you are in the line. And having that visual indicator is really, really helpful, truth be told. Like, it just helps you keep subconsciously, shit, I'm falling behind, or I'm doing okay because I'm not dead last.
Right. So are you playing this on Switch?
Uh-huh. Here's the
it
cool part.
I heard it's on Steam. It's actually.
It is on Steam. That's where I first was looking at it, but
So I was playing it last week, and I was kind of bummed because there's nobody else playing it online. So the game will serve you up AI players, at least, so you can still play the game and enjoy some of the... I was playing earlier today, and there were real live fucking people playing. I'm like, yeah! So I'm like, holy shit, it's not actually dead. There's still
that's
a handful of people playing.
And on
Still-
PC, it's only $4 right now. So
Yeah, solid buy for $4. Easy buy. Ton of fun. And then it does have a single player mode and a retro mode, and, you know, just like local multiplayer. But no, it's a neat little game for a couple of bucks. It's a good time. I think it's just kind of a shame that it wasn't rolled out as like one of the NSO multiplayer titles like F-Zero or Tetris.
well,
Because if they had done that, this would have been a banger.
right, but that's not one of their properties they own. That's the whole thing.
Oh, I know.
they should never have
Pac-Man
gotten
wasn't
rid of
either,
Mario
but they
30
did Pac-Man.
Yeah, but they never should have gotten rid of Mario 35. That
Oh,
was
it was
stupid.
so good.
Oh, I'm so
But
mad about
F-Zero
that.
99's fucking awesome, though.
I can't do nothing with that game. I can't get above 40th place.
Oh,
better than me. I tried it and I was like way behind. I need to sit there and like practice for many hours.
That Skylane is a big help. So.
Yeah, it is, but trying to get to that Skylane.
See, that's
But
the thing. I like that they did that because it encourages you to play aggressive.
Yeah, but I don't know how to play aggressive because I don't remember. I didn't really play F-Zero growing up. That was one
Basically,
of the games
just
we
start
didn't have.
slamming onto other people and blowing them up.
Yeah, but I blow myself up.
So, all right. Next one up, LeGrew, I got one for you. I started it earlier today. I caught it on sale. It was on my wish list. Came out not long ago, maybe a month or two. And I started playing it. It reminded me of something else from a few years back that you and I both were digging. It's called Deflector. And it plays kind of like a mishmash of Creature in the Well and Transcripted. And it's got almost some of the story narrative feel of Transcripted a little bit. A little more lab ratty though, where your character that you're playing is literally like a little microbiology experiment, and you've been created and tasked with, eliminating viruses. But you have a little like software thing talking to you, and you ride between stages on a goddamn tardigrade.
Oh my god.
Is this
But-
also on the Switch?
What's it called? Deflector.
Deflector, and it's on sale for like $2 right now.
Yeah, it's only $2. Dang.
$2.
I might buy it.
$2 is worth the snap, dude. I will send you $2 to buy it. You'll have a great time.
If I get to ride a tardigrade, I might. It's worth $2.
It's just the little between stages thing, but the gameplay is well worth the $2. Like I said, it's combat based, but it's very heavy on the defensive combat, where you're gonna do more good combat wise by deflecting enemy fire back at it.
Gotcha.
I shouldn't have rejoined the podcast. I really should not have rejoined because
Like, I put it
I
on my wish list at 20 some bucks, but then I saw it on sale today for $2. I'm like, yeah, I'm not even thinking twice now. I was waiting for it to go down to maybe like 15 or 10. $2, I didn't even stop to think. It was
No,
fine.
I wouldn't buy. I wouldn't stop either. If you really want to
would-
play it,
No.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
I mean,
and
I could spend more than
I
that on
think it-
whatever.
and it's got kind of like the varying map thing, like Slay the
Nice.
Spire, where you kind of
Okay.
want to work out your ideal path.
I am buying this. Just I gotta grab my Switch on the break. I see Kathy and with her
You're down,
Switch,
yep.
and I gotta grab mine. I found my Switch, by the way. So
Hey,
my nephew is gonna be very happy when I can actually play Pokemon with him.
right.
Yep.
But yeah, no, for the $2, Deflector's a lot of fun. I was playing earlier, and Zoe's like, I don't know what the hell you're playing, but the music is fucking awesome too. So,
I'm trying to save money here. I'm trying to
Right.
pay off my student loan. This
Well,
is
$2.
not.
That's saving.
that's
saving.
right. That's saving like $20 off the sticker.
Girl math. What is that? 18. You just saved $18. You just made $18.
And Michael, one for you this week too. I'm actually finishing a run of Zero Mission on my handy dandy, very kindly gifted to me by girlfriend Game Boy Micro. And it makes me so happy inside. Yeah, I've just kind of been putzing a little here and there when I've got a few minutes, because it's the perfect size that goes everywhere with me now. It has a permanent home in the pocket watch pocket of my jeans. So
You're talking about
'cause
the
it's-
Game Boy Micro, right?
yeah,
All right. Cool.
it's just the right size. It's wonderful. I've got to track down a new faceplate and a new battery. Battery shouldn't be that big of a deal. Faceplates are apparently really fucking tough to find a decent one. Like, there's a bunch of people that make aftermarket ones, but the reviews on so many of them are just terrible.
So do they make like a screen protector for that? Like, so when you get a new one, you can like put like a screen protector on it or something?
Yeah, they do. The other thing is that, part of it is it was made that it didn't really need a screen protector, because the original intention and the design was that, oh, your screen's fucked up, just pop off the faceplate and replace it.
I know.
Because that was really the screen protector. But I've seen screen protectors and decals for the Micro. But yeah, it's still totally perfectly playable, but the perfectionist part of me wants a good clean screen. But yeah, I got Zoe to start playing Fusion today too, so that's another one. And I played through Shadow of the Colossus last night, vicariously through Don Cheadle and Adam Sandler, because we watched Reign Over Me for Fireside Night last night. You're gonna have it's so much fun. But fun fact though, Don Cheadle and Adam Sandler actually learned how to play that game for the movie, and the creator of the game signed off with his blessing on it being used in that film. So, like the scene where Sandler's telling Cheadle, what all the buttons do and how to play it,
Yeah.
it all tracks because they actually learned the game. He wasn't making bullshit up. So, also thought it was funny earlier this week, Zoe and I were laying in bed watching like early first few episodes of House, and I'm sitting there playing Zero Mission on my Micro, and Zoe's like, Metroid, because there's a couple episodes of House where he's actually playing different Metroid games,
He's
Yeah.
playing.
but
yep.
he was playing Zero Mission while I was sitting there laying in bed playing Zero Mission. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm playing. So that made me chuckle. And I've been fiddling with Risk Over Rain Returns, and I haven't played a lot more of it, but I've definitely played enough more of it that This is one that will very sneakily get its tendrils into the ground and supplant itself as something that eventually takes over slowly and insidiously, but it will definitely do it. So
What was it called?
Risk of Rain Returns. It's the update / remake, remaster, whatever of Risk of Rain, like the original 2D one, not the.
Because I've been dabbling in Risk of Rain too. That's why I was asking.
Okay. Yeah. They just a couple of weeks ago released Risk of Rain Returns, which is like so just kind of a prettied up version of Risk of Rain. They do have like some quality of life tweaks and stuff. A lot of which you can actually like optionally toggle on or off. You want to play it more like OG classic, but I don't know enough about the original to know the difference yet at this point. But what I've played of Returns has been a lot of fun. It's tough as shit, but it's really good. So and it just kind of scratches that right itch. So, but that's what I've been playing. I think that covers most of it. So. Before we jump to the break, a moment to shout out some thanks to our awesome sponsor, Imaginary Authors. When you need to tell your story without ever saying a word, Imaginary Authors is here to help you up your scent game with fragrances for guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Go check them out. Links down below in the show notes, Imaginary Authors. And let's jump straight to the break. And we're back with the third half of the show. This week, we are taking a dive down the warp pipe.
Oh, wow. Love these pipes.
And talking about great games that aren't fun. So let's dig in here. I know we've discussed beforehand. Everybody's got one, and I'm kind of curious to see where everybody takes this, because I know I've got something in my head, and I've got a few examples and a few thoughts here. But let's start with Michael. What jumps to mind?
This one's more for
games
just
that
me
fun?
than anything else. This one's more
Still
for
valid.
me than anything else. Is the second Darksiders game. Like
Okay.
we all know I'm obsessed with the series, and like it should have been fantastic. Like I remember it came out, I took time off work for it, and then it got fucking delayed, and then it got, just et cetera, et cetera. The game has given me problems, across the board. Like there was one point I was literally like one area away from 200%ing the game, and my file got corrupted. So I was like, fuck it, I'm done. But like, it's of the series, but it's tedious as fuck to play.
Okay.
The third one is fantastic. The first one is my favorite. Genesis is a lot of fun. The second one, which should have been the one that, like, as I said, I love the character, I love the actor they got to play the character, but it's hard for me to go back to that one.
So everything surrounding it was great except for playing it.
Yes.
Okay. I could say, I think at least one of mine fits that bill pretty much to the fucking T. Wes, what's one that springs to mind to you? What was a game that you look back on and go, that's a fucking excellent game and everybody needs to play it, but shit, that was not fun.
Larry, I think you're going to be upset with me about this one, but for me, that's The Witness.
I'm not even going to disagree. I can defend that as a subjective thing, but I'm not going to disagree either.
Like, I get it. Like the way that they present a lot of the puzzles in that, in some ways, are groundbreaking, and in other ways, I would rather be playing a Sudoku book.
It's very much a game for the sake of the art instead of the game.
Right.
But that's kind of Jonathan Blow in a nutshell.
I'm so sorry, guys. Give me 1 second.
So we'll jump over. Josh, what do you got? Throw me something.
Sorry about
I'm
that.
gonna throw you a Cuphead.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw you Cuphead.
Okay.
Love that game. That game did not love me, and that's where I'm at with it.
That game only loved fucking psychopaths and lunatics.
I
Yeah.
knew better.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Yep.
do it. I knew better.
No,
I
it's
wanted to love it on every level. It looked fantastic.
Mhm.
I know
It
I would
is.
hate myself if I played it.
No, it is fantastic. I mean, I played it for quite a while actually, and I'll just say that I played it for a long time. I actually put way more time into that game than I thought I should. It's one of those games where I'm like, I'm just going to keep playing. And it was kind of before the whole Souls game-ish kind of thing came out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and where I'm just like, okay, yep, no, I'm done. And when
I feel like that
actually
came out like at the height of that.
it kind of, well, it did, but the thing was, the hype was before that. So everyone who was hyped up for it was like, oh, we're gonna get this new kind of game, this blah blah blah. And after I just kind of like surrendered to it and said, no, we're done, I actually felt so good. I have never felt so good, like not playing a game as I did that one. I was like, okay, I'm over it. And I went to something else, and I didn't feel one fucking thing. I'm just like, oh, this is this big weight, you know?
No morsel of regret.
Right. I had none. In fact, it like just left me, you know? I was like, okay, I'm good. So
I've
I'm good.
experienced this, and that's enough.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I tried, and I'm just not. I have to just come to the realization I'm really not that good at games. I'm not.
You know, and that's
just,
okay.
I just love what I love, you know?
My question is, while you were playing it, though, were you having fun?
I was, until I wasn't. And when I stopped, that's when I stopped.
You hit your wall.
Yep.
Like
And
the difficulty curve got too steep and said, fuck this, I'm not climbing it. Too old for this shit.
Right. And part of me was like, should I just keep going? Because, 9-year-old Josh would have kept playing that game because he had no more money to keep, keep moving on. I would have kept doing it. That was my Mega Man 3 or whatever, just kept doing it. But, 45-year-old Josh is like, no.
No, we have more money than time now. You
Well,
and I have
have
talked about
much-
this at length.
I have much more games on the shelf that I can play.
Yeah.
And so if something hits me like that, where I'm just like, no, I just pick another game that I have on whatever, console, whatever I want. I just put something else in. So I was happy with that.
Okay. Wes, I want to jump back to you. Let's get back to The Witness. We got interrupted.
Sorry about that.
No, you're all good. I just didn't want
yeah.
to leave this thread dangling.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, like if you get stuck on one of its puzzles, and you feel like you can't progress a little further, it can really feel like you're just kind of staring at black and white squares, And I get it. The world and the story behind it are amazing, and I appreciate what Jonathan Blow was doing with the puzzles aren't necessarily where you think they are, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But I swear to God, I cannot keep playing that for at most like 20 minutes at a time.
Now, I'm gonna throw a potential counter argument, and it's not me trying to defend for the sake of this is the thing. Just the thing that struck me when playing The Witness that kept me from feeling that, so I was still moving and having fun, was that if I was stuck on something, that whole game, that whole world is designed to encourage you to walk away and go find something else to try instead. It's like, if you're stuck here, if it's not clicking, go fucking do something else that does click with you for a while. Let it stew in the back of your head, and by the time you wander around and see it again, you're like, oh fuck, I've got a new idea about that. Because none of you can start any section at any point. So, but that was just my experience with it and how I interpreted it.
it could also partially be the fact that like the revelation. I don't want to spoil too much for anyone
It's
who
old
hasn't
enough,
played.
but
Yeah,
there's the aha moment on the mountain.
right. Like that is not until like several hours in.
I think I found it in the first hour.
Really?
Yeah.
You're a
It
lot
was
smarter
early
than
for
me
me.
then.
I just wandered because as soon as I got out of the garden and opened up the fuck you trick door, I saw the mountain and went, I want up there, and just wandered that way. So now if it makes you feel any better, I can't be that much smarter because when I got there and I played with it, I'm like, but what did it do? But what did it do? So it still didn't fucking click in my head for a while after that, but I saw the aha moment early.
Right. There was
So-
another one that was similar, and this could just like this is very, very opinionated, I'm sure. But for me, there are a lot of games that put more focus on the art than the gameplay that would fall under this category. And all my gripes about The Witness, like it still says, hey, I am a puzzle game. And love it or hate it, this is the style of game I want to be, right?
Yeah.
When I played through Kentucky Route Zero, I could not get past the first chapter because after playing that game, I almost got the impression that they were angry they had to make it as a video game instead of a book.
Jesus. Ouch. Ouch.
Like there are
I feel like
That's
that's trapping for Annapurna games that don't hit.
right.
Because we were talking about this last week when we got together was, the Annapurna stuff. And, like half their games are big fucking hits, but the other half that you don't really ever think about definitely feel like they went the high art route and left the game behind.
While I get that, I also just am saying, like, if I'm going to be sitting and playing this for at least 2 hours minimum, right? I need something to keep me stimulated other than the sound of minecart going through mine. Like, Edith Finch, for example, great artistic game. If you don't like walking simulators, won't be for you. But regardless, like, still is like an amazing artistic spectacle, both visually and thought-provoking, right? Versus Kentucky Route Zero that I was talking about, trying to play through it, and with long periodic sections of nothing, which might have been intentional because they were trying to show how like life in the Midwest can kind of suck sometimes. But
What do you mean sometimes?
like, I don't know. I don't want to play through a video game that sucks just to say life sucks. You get what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's kind of that whole artistic commentary, though. I feel like.
so that could be. So I could have just shat on someone's favorite game, but I recognize it as a well written story, but it should not have been a video game, in my opinion.
Right. I mean, I honestly, when I was thinking about this, I'm like, Edith Finch, Gone Home. I'm like, they're great games. They're not fun. That said, I don't think that they are.
Are they like games? And that's a whole nother topic.
I don't even
personally
want to
thought-
say that they're bad. They're not even like poorly designed. They're just not fun. But
say-
I would, if you want to say that, then I would say like The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Is not fun. But it's a game.
yeah, I've got one that I think fits pretty close with putting The Last of Us in this category, but I'm gonna save that because the first one I want to hit on is Hellblade. Like, I adore, treasure Hellblade. And I tell anybody, I'm like, if you have an interest in anything like mental health stuff and gaming, play this. And I will send them links to like Sid Course episode on Hellblade, and then our interview with Sid and all of that. And I am beyond anxious for the sequel, which why don't I have it in my hands yet? But that's another
Get on
issue
that.
altogether. Right. I've seen some of their dev diary stuff though about making the new one, and it's really fucking cool, dude. Like their mocap studio in their new building is awesome.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'll scrounge it up and send it to you. You should check it out. But no, it is not a fun game. It almost intentionally goes out of its way to be not fun. Combat is a slog. The camera is tight and constrictive. It intentionally makes everything more fucking difficult than it needs to be. But it wouldn't be what it is if it didn't make it miserable and not fun. You know, and that still very much fits the definition of, yeah, no, this is a game. We have clear objectives and waypoints and puzzles and combat and bosses and all this shit. It's a fucking video game. It is not fun. Like, combat feels fucking miserable. It just feels like slogging through the same shit over and over and over again. But it's supposed to. It was intentionally built that way to make you miserable like Senua. So, but that game wouldn't be great if it was fun. If that game was fun, it would have sapped so much of the meaning and the poignancy out of that game. So, that was the first one that sprang to mind for me. So, toss it back. Go.
You actually made me. It's completely different from Hellblade, but your description of it still reminded me of this. I'd like to think I'm not that old, but I'm old enough to remember when troll games on the internet were really, really popular. And there was one that you guys, I'm sure, have heard of, but it was called I Wanna Be the Guy.
Oh, yes.
And that game, when you talked about harder than it needed to be, that game actually cheated, as in, like, constantly being killed by things that were off screen. Apples fall down if you're under them, fall up if you're above them.
I had a roommate that played the hell out of that, actually.
And it is it's always going to be terrible the first time you play it because, you know, they go out of their way to be unfair, but it's also just straight up hilarious. I can't lie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you haven't heard of it, just go look up a playthrough and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
That game was fucking ridiculous. But no, yeah. I remember when that shit came out. I had a roommate that played the hell out of that way back when. Wes, throw another one in.
Oh,
actually,
shoot.
You know what? I'm gonna toss this over to LeGrew. LeGrew, throw one in.
I don't even have another one.
Oh, see how you are, Jesus. You have
No, I mean, I almost think that this is almost like my guilty pleasure games, like Duke Nukem, forever. It's not fun, but I love it, and it's just kind of like there. But Last of Us, I do want to pull The Last of Us out.
There you go.
It's not a fun game. It's not fun, but it's a game, right? And so it's more of an experience. It's more of what I'm cerebral, getting in my cerebellum here. I'm actually like thinking about it.
It's more intellectually stimulating than it is fun.
Right. Like, I don't enjoy killing people and like the controller is vibrating every time I'm strangling people. I don't enjoy that at all. But it does get me in that mindset of the value of the game, or that I think really what it is, it's like that experience. And I mean, that's where I'm at with that one. I mean, like, I don't think that's very fun, but it's a fan freaking tastic game. Both of them. And I'll lump both of them in there,
I've got one that I've started. I'm not real far into, but I'm getting the impression that it's going to be pretty consistent throughout, that I think fits that bill too. And Michael, this should make your ears perk up, because this is in part been enabled by you, is oh god damn it, why did it go right out of my head? Death Stranding. Like, Death Stranding is really fucking cool. It is extremely interesting. What I've played of it is great. It's not fun.
No,
Like, no part of this is fun.
that's my life. By the way.
It is, yeah, exactly. This.
Yeah. Death Stranding, I think, is the only game I've seen more divisive talking about than Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, it's fucking weird, but I like the weird. The weird makes this great to me. The gameplay is not a fun thing. I don't, at any point that I've been playing this, I don't sit there and think, man, I'm having a lot of fucking fun and a big dumb cheesy grin on my face, and I'm like, I want to see what. No, it's like, what new level of bizarre is around the corner here? Like, how much further can I melt my brain into what the fucksville? So, and what I've played of it is good. It's really fucking cool. But in no world do I classify it as fun. So, but I'm way invested in what it's doing and like the message that comes through from it. But man,
That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's the
So-
game. It's not the game. It's the message. It's the feeling you get.
Yeah, so when you mentioned Last of Us, I'm like, this is same I'm like, no, there's great value in this and everybody should play it, kind of thing, but I'm going to tell you, it's not fun, but you should play it. It's like seeing Oppenheimer. It's a great movie. You're not going to have a great time, but it's a really good fucking film. So,
yeah.
Wes, what else you got? I know I tossed it over to the groove for time constraints, but Wes, what else you got?
So you made me think of when we're talking about games that are kind of like that on purpose and putting you in these dark spots. I don't know if calling this game not fun is gonna put a crosshairs over me, but you made me think of Papers, Please.
Ooh.
Basically, bureaucracy simulator. But
yeah,
that's not a fun game.
That
No,
sounds
not fun.
horrible.
Yeah, dude, if
It
you've
is
not
horrible.
checked this out, you should. This is a genuinely fascinating one. Even if
Yeah.
you don't play it, go fucking look it up.
have you never played it, Michael?
No.
You know what
I've
it
same
is.
guy
I've
that
heard
did,
the name, but
Obra
that's
Dinn.
all.
So basically you're playing the guard at a border going into a dictatorship. And you have to make sure everyone's papers are aligned with what they need. But the law is constantly changing and you have to keep going over the list of what happens. And if you get it wrong, you get a demerit. Enough demerits, they start docking your pay. You don't make enough money, your family starves.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It's harsh.
But it is a game that I believe you should absolutely check out, even if it's not fun, because the story goes a lot deeper than you would expect something like that to.
Yeah, there's
To
some
give
real
you-
interesting moral quandaries.
To give you a mild spoiler, early on in the game, there's a couple that's trying to escape a country that's even worse off than yours, and the husband's paperwork is good, so he's clear to go through, but the wife's is not. And you have to decide, are you going to take the demerit and let her in, or are you going to separate them at the border? Because he's already crossed. You only see one person at a time. And this is not I'll just go back with her because screw it, she's my wife, right? No, he's already crossed the border. He is already over.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Like I said, same dude that did Return of the Obra Dinn. That's his handiwork. So, Michael, you want to throw another one on the pile?
Soul Reaver.
Okay.
I
Oh.
love the story. It's literally block puzzles and clunky combat. It's not fun to play.
This is
Like,
this is why we need a
play with it
remake.
anytime.
Remake.
Oh yeah, they need to do something with it. I don't care if it's a remake or if it's a reboot. I don't care. Just
Read
so
Bleak
long as
keep an eye
Michael
out
Bell
for,
does the voice.
Keep an eye out for Dead House Sonata.
Yeah, whatever happened to that?
He's on fucking Twitter streaming work in progress all the time. Or
Still?
not Twitter,
Good.
Twitch. Yeah. So it's still cooking. He like you said, he streams it quite frequently. If he's
I don't
like
think he
working
had
on
anything to do with Soul Reaver, though.
it. I thought he did. Thought that was part of his.
No, I thought it was just Blood Omen 1.
Maybe.
I could be wrong, but
I don't know. I knew he was somewhere in the franchise, and apparently it struck a chord with him because he's been working on Dead House Sonata. So part of me thinks, even if he wasn't involved in Soul Reaver, he's got enough love for the franchise that he's like, I'm going to do what I can with it, even though, I can't call it that in name. So,
yeah.
but, I'm going to throw one last one on the funeral pyre here, and we'll wrap this bitch. This has actually been on my radar for a while because it was unavailable for a number of years, actually, and a lot of people reached out and said, please put this back on a store somewhere, because it was on Steam, and then he voluntarily took it down. The creator said, yeah, I don't feel good about this for a variety of reasons, but a lot of people reached out and said, no, please put this back. It's called Cart Simulator, and you play a character that for a living runs like a little vendor cart, like a coffee cart, on the street in New York kind of deal. And it's kind of a life sucks simulator where you have all sorts of options on how to do all your mundane day-to-day shit in terms of, getting up, getting dressed, catching the bus to work, how you run your business and your cart and everything else. But no matter what you do, something always happens. Like it's like life. It's that kind of, I was having a fucking great day until I missed the fucking bus, or I caught the bus, but I realized I fucking left my bus pass at home, so I couldn't and I'm late to work. I'm missing on money that affects my ability to be able to fucking pay my rent, and it creates the never-ending oppressive squeeze of trying to survive in life, in everyday fucking life. That's all it's about. And just going, well, this sucks. Figure it out. And there's not necessarily a magic answer that'll undo whatever the hell stupid thing happened to you that day. But just, what do you decide to do to cope with it? Do you say, fuck this day, turn around and go home and go back to bed and miss out on a day's wages and potentially not be able to pay the electric bill this month? Or, do you go, well, this fucking sucks, but, we've got shit to do, so you walk to fucking work and you're late, and yeah, you missed some, but you at least got something, and it fucking rained the whole way and you're just miserable, and it's any number of fucking things, and it's not fun. It is very intentionally not fun, but this thing just resonated with so many people that reached out to him over the years going, please put this back. And somebody actually, if I remember correctly, he pulled it down over it just not being like polished enough in terms of performance and coding and bugs and glitches and shit. And apparently somebody reached out to him to offer to, if I remember correctly, to offer to like fund development for him to clean up what he wanted to put it back up to where he didn't feel bad about selling it. So that's a real fascinating one if you want a character study in this kind of thing. Like, it's good. It got pulled down and Bugs and all and everybody said, no, please put this back. This is too good. You know, this is too important, and it means something to me. It's not fun. Like, there are forums of people that talk about this shit, and they're just like, yeah, this fucking sucks, man. The cost of, like, the coffee cups for my cart went up, and I don't know how I'm gonna afford to keep my business open, but I don't know what else to fucking do, kind of thing. And it's just people talking about trying to fucking survive, you know, and it sounds like an every day-to-day life conversation, but they're talking about fucking Cart Simulator. It's really just fascinating. So, but yeah, in no way can you construe that as fun.
And you said this game's on Steam?
I don't know if it's gone back up yet or not, but I know it was a work in progress. I will check for you while we are conversating here. But yeah, last I saw it, he was in the process of getting it back up, or at least, you know, working on finishing it. So I swear to God, if I don't find this thing. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Cart Simulator. Cart Life. That's what it is. Cart Life. And let's see. It's not back up on Steam currently as of recording, but you can stick it on your wish list, and it's got a planned release date of sometime this year, in theory. Now, the other thing I heard too is that with the rework coming to it, he was supposed to be releasing it on other platforms as well, finally. So that's what I know. But it does have a listing on Steam, so you can go wish list it, but not up for sale again yet. But should be coming. But I think that's a good place to wrap this up. Anybody got any last thoughts we want to add before we close this bitch out?
I will say, I think, regardless of my opinions on them, I won't say even the games I roasted the hardest in this, looking at you, Kentucky Route Zero, I still think there's something to be enjoyed with them. All of them that I think we brought up have at least some artistic value, regardless of, like, that's the whole point of this topic.
Yeah.
So, as much as I say Kentucky Route Zero should have been a book instead of a video game, and you say Edith Finch might have been a better movie, they still all have value, and I think that's something, before someone gets angry at us, that we need to reiterate at least one more time.
Oh yeah. I won't even go into any depth, but I would also say Shadow of the Colossus might fall into this category.
Oh God, don't even get me on that.
Oh man, we got to wrap it up, Larry.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not going deep in it. I'm just, I would be remiss without giving it a mention.
Oh,
that's its own whole complex thing, but I do think it could fit in here depending on your taste. So, but in any case, I want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in this week and joined us. Thank you to all my friends for coming and hanging out with me. Josh, Michael, Wes, and we'll see you back here next week for another episode of World 1-1 Podcast. Just a reminder, make sure you subscribe to us in whatever podcast catcher you use or YouTube. That way you get fresh episodes every week delivered straight to your inbox free of charge. There's no better value on the internet. No scams, no bullshit, no nothing, just free goodness right here on the World 1-1 Podcast. Press start to engage your mind. Peace! And Wes, fuck you, the witness is great.